Ooh. Ah, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Never mind. Just had to see if my mic was working properly, you know what I'm saying? Uh, but yeah, different perspective. New video. Um, I'm outside chilling in the grass in my apartment. It's very sunny outside. I just need to get some sun, you know what I'm saying? I'm out here chilling, enjoying the sun. Sun gazing a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Gazer, gazer.
Gazer, 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 gazer.
Radford, Devin. Yeah, I got my belly button out. Oh no. Radford, Dev in the building. Dreadlock Dev in the building. Nature Dev in the building. Sun Gazer Dev in the building. Gazer, Gazer. Shout out Sullivan. Oh my God, epic voice crack. Shout out Sullivan, you know what I'm saying? That was one of my favorite YouTubers growing up. So shout out him. But yeah, it's your boy Dev, man. I'm back with a new video. I'm just chilling outside, enjoying the sun, enjoying some nature, grounding myself. You know, I ain't got no shoes on right now, but y'all can't see my feet. Them shit's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I need to go to the nail salon. But yeah, it's been a solid week. Um, Work's been going normal. Uh, I got a letter in the mail from my school. I got a medal just for like completing my junior year and stuff. Just been chilling, hanging out with my my girl. She's been keeping me calm. Got the bugs on me out here, you know what I'm saying? I got some. I'm. I guess the bugs love me. You know what I'm saying? Nature love your boy. But yeah, just chilling with my girl, going to the gym, working out, playing a lot more basketball. Um, don't got a game this week, flag football, so I'm gonna take this time to rest. Hopefully get a little bit of practicing with my teammates because we got playoffs coming up. So I'm looking forward to that and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm just chilling right now. Um, Everything's been solid. I'm not trying to overwork myself and all that stuff. Just been trying to take care of myself. Been in the house a lot. Like I said, outside of just, going to the gym. I've been in the house a lot. Uh, been watching the NBA finals. It's just pretty much it. Shout out Jalen Brunson. Shout out Cat. I mean, I'm not a Knicks fan, even though I was born in New York. I was raised there for a couple years. Shout out them. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm not a Knicks fan, I'm a Cats fan. As y'all know, they fucked us up, but shout out them. You know. But shout out for real, shout out Jalen Brunson. After Kyrie, that's my favorite basketball player. Him, Tyrese Maxey. So shout out Jalen Brunson. He putting on for the short Kings, even though he's 6'1" in real life. That's really tall in real life. But in the NBA they're short. So Jalen Brunson putting on for the short Kings, man. But anyways, today what I wanted to talk about honestly was this video idea was just it's been popping up in my head the whole week. Even though I got a list of video ideas that I wanna go through, that I want to talk about. Um, this thought kept popping up in my head because I encounter problems every day in my life, whether it's small or big. Um, and with those problems require solutions. So today's video topic I want to talk about is comfort and solutions. And the equivalent to sitting in the comfort of your problems is just like wearing a shitty diaper. So that's what I want to talk about. And I kind of started to understand this. I want to say, I don't want to say pretty early because like I've never low key been in a space to like even sit in my own comfort for a while, you know what I'm saying? Until I got to like I want to say high school was when I was able to like sit in my comfort cuz like I said my mom had my two little brothers. And then after that I was like, I basically put myself in the shadows of my own life. And for a while it's like, all right, my mom doesn't really have to look after me anymore. She doesn't really have to take care of me. So I'm gonna just sit in these shadows and just wallow for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And that this also relates to the last video that I made, talked about being a victim and how to get out of that mindset. So, once they were came and I was able to sit in the shadows of my life and just sit with myself, well, starting to be able to sit with myself because even as an only child, like I wasn't able to be a child until my mom and I moved out here to Roanoke. So from like the ages of 8 to 14, my camera moving a little bit because the wind blowing. But from the ages of 8 to 14, I was able to just be a kid for real. And I ain't last long because like my brothers came. So I didn't really have too many problems from the ages of 8 to 14. At least I didn't think I did. I didn't realize how much. I mean, I understood what I went through, but I didn't realize how much it was and how bad it was a toll on my mental and physical health too. Until I got to so I became like an adult for real, and that's when I like started to face those things and try to understand them. But when my youngest brother came, Aaron, I think that's when I started to like, all right, I'm gonna just sit here. I'm gonna just come home, do the regular stuff I do, go outside, play basketball, play my game. But I'm gonna just sit here, you know what I'm saying? And whenever I had a problem or something in my life, I come home and just wallow in it. Just sit there, sit there, sit there and be like, okay, now this emotion or this pain that I'm feeling is over. Okay, time to resume. And at first I thought it was a good thing, but as I got older, I started to realize how bad it was because it's just like a problem comes up and I do the same thing when a problem comes up. I'll just be like, all right, I'm gonna sit in here, I'm gonna pout, I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna get upset. And then once that emotion is over, I'm gonna just resume my normal life. And it kept happening. Like not the same problems, but whenever a problem arose that I felt like I didn't have control over it, or it was something too big for me to like handle, pause. Whenever something like that would happen, I'll just go through the same cycle. Sit in the emotion, and be like, all right, this emotion is over, resume my life. And once I started to understand that this kept repeating, I was just like, all right, well, how do I stop this from repeating? And I didn't know until I started to you know, actually sit and go through the whole thought process of the problems that I was going through. So for example, it's gonna get a little bit dark, but I'm being real with y'all because I don't care about being vulnerable or exposing myself to the world. But I knew that I had to start coming up with solutions for my problems during my I want to say my second year of college because when I was in high school, I didn't really like the problems I had were just like to me they were petty. When I look back at them, like I was in a really bad high school relationship with a girl. Our relationship was on and off. She cheated on me. I want to say I don't know if she cheated on me twice, but I know for sure she cheated on me once when we was in high school. And my dumb ass ended up taking her back, but hey, we live and we learn, you know what I'm saying? I was green as fuck back then. And it's crazy because I ended up dating her as an adult. But when we were adults, she was a lot better person to me than she was when we were in high school. So I don't got no ill will towards her. She's a good person. Shout out to her. Shout out to her family. There's that. But I don't think I really had any super big problems when it came to like high school stuff. Because I feel like those problems were like petty. They were small. And I understood that in high school, but it was just like I was so mentally aged to an extent to like I was just like, all right, I'm in high school, whatever it is, but like my mind is not high school. Like I felt like I was an adult already in high school. So I was dealing with things on a different level than I feel like some of my peers. Like the way I would internalize things were a lot different than my peers or especially kids when I observed them at that age that I was going through stuff. Like I was taking things a lot more differently. I was analyzing them and internalizing them a lot more differently. But I was still went through the same pattern, of just emotion, emotion, emotion. All right, it's over. Move on with your day. And to an extent, that can be good, but it's also like you're avoiding your emotions and your problems, and it also can lead to you avoiding personal accountability. And I think that I really started to like analyze my problems. Like I said, my second year of college. Um, my second year of college was really terrible. I'm not gonna lie, because this is my second time going to college, not my second year. This is my second time. My Radford is my second time going to college, and it's a lot better. It's a lot easier. Since I'm a lot older, my mind is a lot clearer and healthier, and I've been taking care of myself. And because of that, school has been easier this time around. But my first stint in college, it was terrible. Didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I would just wake up, brush my teeth, wash my face, eat breakfast, go to class, and then there's that. And I had friends and all that stuff that was cool, but it's just like even with them, I just feel like I still couldn't be like super vulnerable with them to an extent. But and that was another problem I had too. But a really big problem I faced in my first year of college during my second year was I was just so overwhelmed with the process of college and life because like I said, I've been through a lot as a kid, as a teenager, and those things kept reoccurring, like the memories and the flashbacks kept reoccurring in my life, and then just the problems that was going on at home when I go back home to visit my family and stuff. Like I would see that and it would just overwhelm me. And like also I was like I wasn't really having my way how I was used to having my way when I was a teenager. I mean I was still a teenager, but you know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't having my way how I used to have my way because like I was in school. I took out some loans to even go to school. I got some scholarships, which was a good thing, but like the scholarships wasn't enough to cover my tuition. So I was stressing about that because my mom was the only one paying for my tuition, all that stuff. So it was just so much going on. I was like, damn, I can't put a lid on none of this. I can't even control it. I just gotta do what I gotta do and control what I can. But it was just like it felt like I could only control this much of my life, and you know, it was just really, really tough. And I was just like, I was going through that same pattern: emotions, 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 wallow in them, sit in them. All right, does the pain is over? Forget about it. What happened? And it really, like I said, it really got to a point where my mental health got so fucking terrible, and even my mom noticed it. It's like my mental health got so terrible to the point where I'm not gonna lie, like I really wanted to like end myself, and I didn't really understand why. And then, like I said, once that emotion went away, it was just like, damn, I really wanted to end myself just because I've been having really bad time in my life, and you know, I was just really, really fucked up. And then once I left college and I went home, my mom was like, Devin, I knew you were mentally fucked up, but I didn't want to say nothing because, you're growing up, you're becoming a man, and I want you to understand how to deal with things on your own. I'm here to help you, but at the same time, I don't necessarily want to baby you. You know what I'm saying? I want you to go through the phases of life as an adult, but I'm always going to be here to help you. So when I got home, whatever, and my mom was telling me all that stuff, and I went to the doctor to get a checkup, she was like, all right, well, when you go in there to this doctor, I'm going to make you fill out this checklist. And it was just like a bunch of like symptoms from a mental perspective and emotional perspective that I had to fill out. Ended up finding out that I had not super bad depression, like moderate depression and like moderate anxiety, whatever. And I was just like, damn, this whole time, like I was just functioning. I thought it was normal. And then obviously later down the line in my life, like towards now, I found out I had really bad ADHD too. So I was like, damn, I got anxiety and depression. Like I was scared to even acknowledge it because of the stigma behind it, especially when you a man, especially when you black. Like it feels like nobody really even gives a fuck. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I started to get into the mindset of, all right, you got these problems, you going through these emotions as your comfort. So what is the next step after these emotions and comfort is to find a solution. And once I started to understand that, I started going to therapy when I want to say I was 21 or 22. My first therapist was really good. I think her name was like Valerie or something, white lady. She was really good to me. She introduced me. Well, she didn't introduce me to spirituality because my mom did, but she like started putting it to the forefront, and she started giving me like coping mechanisms to do, like listening to music, breathing exercises, meditation. You know what I'm saying? Like I started getting deeper into that stuff, and it helped because they were small coping mechanisms just to deal with my personal problems and stuff. And so I was just going through those phases and going through those things, and I understood that I wasn't paying enough attention to myself internally. And I'm not gonna lie, like, yes, it was a good thing for me because I needed to start to take care of myself and start paying more attention to myself and my own interests, my own emotions, and all that. But the downside of it was that I was in a relationship and I felt like I don't want to blame it on therapy and I also don't want to blame it on myself. But throughout that process of me going to therapy and the like I said, the process of it, I ended up breaking up with my girlfriend at the time because I started to take control of my life and take care of myself. So I guess that was the negative aspect of it, and it kind of sucked because the girl I was with, I really did love her. Um, but it was just like, I mean, we separated because of like lifestyle things, but it was just like, all right, now that I'm not in this relationship, and now that I've been away from her for some time, even throughout our relationship, like I started to take some more time away just to sit with myself, and I'm just like, damn, this whole time I have not been paying attention to myself. I barely even know who I am. All I know is my name is Devin. I'm this years old. I love basketball. I love video games, and I love music. And that was it. That's how I felt. I just felt like that's all I knew about myself. And I understand, like, I don't like being, like I said, I don't like being arrogant or anything like that. But I know that I'm an intelligent person. So that was just the things that I knew about myself, and just obviously my family background and the upbringing that I went through. And that's all I knew. I didn't know too much about who I really was. And then like after me and her had broke up, whatever, that's when I started to understand my life, who I was as a person, why I went through what I went through, and who my family was, and all that stuff, and how it integrates into my life and how it shaped my life. And I ain't gonna lie, like even right now in therapy, I'm re going through that cycle, but just on a deeper level because, like I said, my therapist knows me. My therapist knows my mom because my mom used to go see her, so she knows how my mom is. She knows who my mom is, and all the stuff that she went through, and she know that I hate saying this, but she knows that I was the victim of those circumstances. Because, like I said, I really don't like calling myself a victim anymore because I'm in a different stage of my life. I'm in a different stage of my life, and that's all it is. But it's just tough. And now that that happened for me, like I said, I started to sit in my comfort, but understand that I can't sit in it too long because the longer I sit in it and ignore it and just go about my next day like nothing happened, the more the patterns are going to keep repeating and the worse and worse your life is going to get as you get older. Because as you get older, nobody's coming to save you anyway. You know what I'm saying? But as you get older and older, like nobody is really coming to save you because at that point, the older you get and the more adult you become, nobody really gives a fuck. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna have to prepare myself for when I become an adult. And if I need to fix certain aspects of my life, how am I gonna go about it? And that's just where I started at. Like my first sessions of therapy when I was 21, 22, 23. Freaking blanket blew away. I don't want the grass making me itchy, but you know, that's when I started to go through that process, and it helped me become a better person because it enforced me to start holding myself more accountable for my decisions in life. So it's like, all right, trying to think of a problem that I've encountered from that time. Well, I can talk about how I got back into school. So when I dropped out, it really hurt me because I'm just like, damn, I didn't even finish. I only got through 2 years of college, and my first major was psychology. I ended up going to therapy again and switching my major to social work because I can get into the field easier and I can help people faster, you know what I'm saying? But my first major was psychology and I didn't finish. I only went 2 years and I was like, damn, how am I gonna get back into school? How am I gonna get back on track? And I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know how to do anything. So, after a while I was just like, all right, I know I could transfer to somewhere, but I didn't know where I could transfer. So I ended up getting on the phone with Virginia Western, got my credits transferred through, and I only had to go to school for like part time. Only part time. I had to go to school part time for 3 semesters, and then that was it. So I think I had to take like 7 classes just to get my associate's degree or whatever. And then I just transferred to Radford right after that. And now look where I'm at. Like I'm almost done with getting my bachelor's. I got, like I said, I got one more semester of classwork, and then I got an internship in the spring, and then that'll be it. So that's just one of the few things about going from comfort to solutions to better your life. Um, so me just going through that, I was just like, damn, like that happened like a few years ago, and I'm just like, all right, how do I continue to keep this pattern going in my life so that I don't fuck up again? You know what I'm saying? So now that I'm in this field of work and also this school field, because like I kind of have a social work job outside of school. I work as an outreach worker and a youth mentor. So like when I encounter kids who basically get in their own way, it's kind of like I don't get mad at them. Like I don't get upset at them because like first of all they're still developing. You know your brain doesn't fully develop until you're 20. I want to say 27. And if you have ADHD, it takes even longer for your brain to fully develop. So I know a lot of the kids, I feel like they do have ADHD. I know for sure they have anxiety. Some of them have depression, but I'm not going to diagnose them, but they show signs of those, those how do I say? I don't want to say disabilities, but you know what I'm trying to get at, but sometimes I see the kids that I work with getting their own way and I'm just like, bro, like it's I want to tell them it's not that hard because it's not that hard once you sit down and start to understand yourself. But they're kids; they haven't experienced enough life to understand how problem solving isn't as hard as it looks. So, that's why I'm there for them. Just like, hey, bro, like you keep getting in trouble, you keep repeating these same patterns and thriving in this chaos. That's how your life is going to continue to be. Is chaotic. You don't want to keep repeating going to jail or repeating going to juvie or you know repeating getting in trouble in school just because it's just like this is my normal. And yeah, it may be your normal, but it's not healthy. So I try to get them to think outside the box and encourage other thoughts, other solutions. I even made a 12-week book about cognitive behavioral therapy and how to become a better problem solver for yourself and how to sit with your own thoughts to not get rid of them, but to understand them to make a better decision for yourself. So, what's the word? Not cognitive function, critical thinking skills. That's the word I'm thinking about. It's a 12-week program to enforce better critical thinking skills to make better decisions in your life. So, when I sit with these kids and they're just like, yeah, I did this, this, and this, and I'm just like, so you got kicked out of school because you wanted to be cool and hang out with the cool kids because it's fun? That's comfort, right? But what happens when those actions that you made become really bad consequences? Then what? And then you say you don't, I ain't gonna say you get off scot free, but you get a slap on the wrist. All right. When is it gonna sit in your brain that that slap in the wrist was just a lucky consequence? Because the next consequence is gonna be worse. You're gonna get kicked out of school. You're gonna go to juvie, and this problem is gonna keep continuing throughout your life, throughout your childhood, throughout your adulthood, and it's gonna keep continuing until you change and make a better decision for yourself. And that's why I said sitting in comfort when you need solutions is just like wearing a shitty diaper. Because look at the babies. Look at babies, man. Put it like this. Look at babies. Babies, their solution, then when they can't, because they don't know how to use the toilet yet, right? They wear diapers. So when they got to use the bathroom, they shit on themselves, right? Or they pee on themselves. And it's like, I finally got the shit or the piss out of me. And I'm wearing this diaper, but I don't know what to do because I finally got the shit out of me and the piss out of me that I'm just going to sit in this diaper because I'm comfortable now because I got rid of my shit. But what babies don't know, well, they might know actually. What babies don't know, or if they do know, is that they fucking stink. One and two, that the longer they sit in it, it's only going to be worse for their physical health because obviously you don't want to sit in your shit all day and your piss all day. You get rashes, you get sick, all that stuff. But babies don't really know that yet. You know what I'm saying? And that's why when they start to get older, you got to potty train them so that this doesn't happen again. Because if you don't potty train them, they will continue to sit in their own shit and piss. So this is why I said that. And damn, my ear itch. But you know, that's why it's just like, bro, you can't sit in your comfort for too long. You know what I'm saying? And I know sometimes for some people that their comfort can be chalked up to laziness. And I know that sometimes that laziness can be chalked up to, medical conditions like ADHD, depression, anxiety, because I've been that person before. Like I lost my keys one time and I was like, bro, what the fuck? And I was having a bad week too. So like losing the keys was just the cherry on the top. Luckily I didn't crash out. So mom came and got me, took me out, got me something to eat. I had some Taco Bell. Never again, because after I ate that Taco Bell, I had the worst shits of my life. But once I lost my keys at the end of that bad week, I didn't do shit for some days. And at the time, my I was living with my ex fiance, and she went out of town. And like I was in the house by myself. I ain't do shit that I usually do. So like my house was messy. I ain't make no food. My cat was there, just he was sitting in his own shit too, cause he can't clean up after himself too much. But he was sitting in his own shit too, you know what I'm saying? And I was just fucked up. I was slightly depressed for sure, cause I'm like, damn, I lost my keys. I can't drive my car. I can't get into my apartment. I had to call the landlord to let me into my apartment. I can't even get inside my apartment because I lost the key fob. I lost my mom's house key. I lost my headphones. I lost my memberships to the gym, all that stuff. So I'm just like, bro, I'm fucked up. And the crazy thing about it is that my keys had a keychain on it. And when I went to go take that walk, I had on pants with a zipper on them. So I'm like, bro, how the fuck did I lose my keys, right? And I was like literally just upset, just sitting in the room doing nothing. I was sitting on the couch. Once I finally got inside my apartment, I was sitting on the couch. I'm like, bro, I'm not doing shit. Fuck all that shit. I'm not doing nothing. I lost my keys. Fuck, fuck, fuck. You know what I'm saying? But, after a while, I was like, bruh, all right, I got to find a way to get all these keys back and let it go to an extent. Like, let these emotions go. Because at the end of the day, like, keys, yeah, I lost my keys, but I can get new keys. I can get new headphones, all that shit. Like, the keys is temporary. Like, I can replace them. You know what I'm saying? So luckily for me, I had bought a pair of shoes that didn't come either. That's why another reason why I was upset. I had bought a pair of shoes offline, brand new, and they didn't come when they were supposed to come because they had got stuck at the UPS shipping station. So I filed a claim to get my money back from my sneakers, and they gave my money back and all that stuff. So I ended up ordering another pair. And so as soon as I ordered that pair, the pair that I lost finally came to my house. So I was like, what the fuck? So I got two pairs of the same sneakers, and it was the all black Travis Scott lows. And I was like, damn, what I'm gonna do? I need some new keys. So I sold the other pair of Travis Scotts, and I had the money to get the keys, to replace my mom's keys, to get some new headphones, and to get some new car keys. And shit, everything was good after that. So I'm just like, damn, I went through all this shit. Yes, I did get lucky. I'm not gonna lie, but you know what I'm saying. I went through all this shit, and I was just like, bruh, fuck, I'm fucked up. I'm fucked over, and that's just it for me. You know what I'm saying? But yes, I did get blessed. I did get lucky with getting the two pairs of the same shoe to help me get this money back. But at the same time, I was gonna have to do it anyway. I was gonna have to get the money anyway, or put the money into it anyway. So that's what I did. I was like, all right, I can't cry too much longer. I can't sit in this depressive mode too much longer. I can't be upset too much longer because this shit is just temporary. So I was like, all right, what's the next step after I'm done being upset and being slightly depressed? Find a way to get some new keys. Find a way to get some money to get some new keys. And once I would start to work on that, lo and behold, them shoes came in. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to get all that stuff back, and that was it. Like I wasn't, I didn't. It was no reason for me to dwell in it. And even like a serious problem, like in my life, like stuff that you can't control, like for example, sensitive topic, you know what I'm saying? But my best friend Josh, love him to death. rest in heaven, bro. But like when he passed away, that was my like that was legit like my best friend. He's like my brother. And when he passed away, it was kind of like, damn, I really don't have no friends in my city that really know me like that I can hang out with because Josh my best friend. He's been my best friend since I was like 10 years old. And when he passed away, I was just fucked up because that was my brother basically. That was like when it was nothing for us to do. He'd be like, bro, I might just come to your house, or he'd be like, bro, I'm about to come scoop you. I'm about to come to your house, or I'd be like, bro, what you doing? And I go to his crib, whatever, and we chill, we hang out, play the game, smoke some weed every now and then. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it was. But then once he passed away, it was like a little itchy, a whole piece of my life was missing, and I didn't know how to cope with it. Um, then right after that, my grandmother died too, so I was just like, it was like back to back, just crazy shit that was just happening in my life, and I didn't know how to move forward with it because those were like two important people in my life, and I sat in those emotions for a long, long time. Like even during that time, like I had RSV too, so like I was like super sick, and I couldn't do nothing but sleep because I was so fucking sick, and I just didn't know how to get out of those emotions. So for a while, I did ignore them. Like I just kept working, 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 and I was just like, whatever. It's just it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like they passed away, ain't nothing I could do. But like I didn't know how bad it was until like I actually sat by myself because at that time, like I said, I was with my ex fiance at the time, but I didn't know how bad it was until I was able to sit by myself and shit. The emotions kept reoccurring. The emotions kept reoccurring, and I was just so fucked up. And I was just like, all right, it's not that how can I get over this emotion? It's like how do I deal with the pain and trauma and the loss of my two of my favorite people in my life. And I had to go through those steps. It's just like, all right, understand that they're not here no more. Remember them. Understand how it makes you feel. And, how am I going to work through it? And not my necessarily distracting myself because a distraction is just a distraction. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, all right, how do I deal with it now? How do I cope with it? How do I understand it? And I had to keep going through that process until I was like able to just hold it and sit with it. Because whenever Josh got brought up or my grandmother got brought up, I legit start crying because it's just like, bro, like, how do I deal with that? Or I would just go into hide and I wouldn't say nothing. I just disappear because I'm like, I can't let nobody see me crying. I can't let nobody see me upset because, like, for my friends and my family, I'm like one of the strong people in all of the groups that I'm in. So it's like for them, I'm strong for them. I'm problem solving for them most of the time, and it is kind of sucks because out of those group of people, sometimes I feel like there's no one to sit with me and help me solve my problems. But it's also my fault too because I don't allow myself to give them that space to be like, Devin, what is your problem? What are you upset about? Like I don't give myself the space to talk to them simply because I'm just like, all right, I'm supposed to be the strong friend of the group. I'm supposed to be the therapist of the group. I'm supposed to be, you know, the voice of reason of the group. And that's how I feel in all my friend groups that I'm in. So I never let them see me be vulnerable. And that's another problem too. So it's like once I was able to understand that about myself, which was the solution to my comfort, I was like, all right, I can't be too stubborn anymore. Like if I'm really feeling fucked up, I should be able to tell them. And then if they're really my friends, they should be able to understand. You know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of how that's just one thing I just start to understand about life. Better late than never for sure. But, it's just like I see too many people sitting in their own comfort, repeating the same patterns, and they're not realizing that these same patterns keep reoccurring because they never addressed the actual problem. And what I learned from what is it? Human behavior and theories, I think that was what I took my first semester of college, is that people who continue these patterns, one, it's learned behavior, but two, as far as I guess I could talk about the attachment theory because it plays out in not just friendships and relate. Well, yeah, friendships and relationships. But people who continue these patterns, just sitting in comfort, sitting in comfort, and then like, all right, this emotion's over. I'm gonna move on to the next thing without actually addressing it, and it keeps repeating, repeating, repeating. These type of people are called avoidant people. Cause like, why are you avoiding your problems after sitting in your comfort? You're not sitting in your emotions. You're like, all right, I finally feel comfortable that I ran away from this. All right, let's go to the next stage of my life. And I see people keep doing that, keep doing that, and keep doing that. Like they'll be avoiding shit, avoiding shit, avoiding shit. All right, this feeling is over. I'm done. They don't ever address their problems. And then when they keep repeating the problems, they be like, woe is me. And I used to be like that myself. So I can't even be mad at avoidant people. I used to be an avoidant person. Like I would just shit would happen to me, shit would happen to me, shit would happen to me, and I'd just be like, okay, okay, whatever. And then I'll just be like, oh well, that stage is over. Let me go find something else to do, or let me go hang out with some new people, or let me go find a new hobby without addressing what actually happened in the past. And it started to catch up to me, and I realized that once I broke up with my first the girl, the first girl I ever like seriously dated. Like I said, when I dated her when I was an adult, that's when I knew like once I left that situation, even though I felt like I was protecting my peace because like she asked me something so sensitive that she kept asking me throughout our whole relationship, and I kept giving her the same answer. But like it got to a point where I just got tired of it, and I just disappeared. I'm not gonna lie, I disappeared, and I ended up apologizing to her like not too long ago about it. But I just disappeared. No, nothing. No, say nothing. I was just like, after it happened, like I was like, you made me feel uncomfortable with that question, even though you already asked me a million times, and I already told you how I feel about it. And that was it. I ain't saying nothing else after that. I just disappeared. And she ended up revealing to me like after I apologized to her about it and stuff, she ended up revealing to me like I really like hurt her feelings, and that made me feel fucked up because I felt like yes I was taking care of myself, but it also felt kind of selfish because it's just like I just dipped, bro. Didn't even address it. I low key felt like I didn't even heal from that relationship properly because it's just like not that I avoided it or anything like that because I did go through that thinking process of the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, how could I be better for the next girl? How could I be better for myself? All that, but I didn't think about how can I be better for myself and what did I do wrong. I was just like, she did this, I ain't like it, I'ma run away. And it kind of followed me to my next relationship with the girl I was with before, which was my last relationship, my ex fiance. And I encountered that a lot, but with not on my end, it was on her end. And I don't want to blame her for it because, she had a rough upbringing too. Um, and that's just that. And I don't want to say too much about her because, I mean, I know a lot about her, at least from when I started dating her to the time I finished dating her. I know a lot about her. I know a lot about her family life and her personal life. And I could understand why she acted the way she acted. And I don't want to, blame anything on her or call her out or anything or nothing like that because at the end of the day, nobody's perfect. It's stuff that she got to work on, but it's also stuff that I need to work on that I learned from that relationship and just being with her. So I'm not going to say, oh, she was wrong while we broke up or I was wrong because I know what I did wrong, and I'm currently working on those things to be better for my current girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I been operating. It's just like, bro, like something happened, it made you upset or it made you some type of way, like sad or whatever. All right, sit in the comfort for a minute, which was the emotions, the ups and downs that you went through, and the memories and the good memories and the bad memories and all that stuff. Sit in it, sit in it, sit in it, but don't just run away from it. You know what I'm saying? Like sit in it, think about it, process it, and I'm like, all right, what do I got to do now? What's the next steps in order for me to not necessarily get over it, but understand it, internalize it, and integrate it into your life, and then move on to the next stage of your life as far as being healthy for yourself and possibly for the next person. And that's what I'm doing right now. So like I don't want to not address my own personal problems because if I don't, it's just going to carry on and bleed over to the next person, whether it's in a relationship or it's a friendship. You know what I'm saying? Or even a business relationship. And I don't want that to continue to keep happening because bleeding on people that didn't hurt you is so fucked up. It's so fucked up and it's not fair to anybody. And I don't want to be that person. So I'm constantly working on myself to like not bleed on people, to understand myself, and to deal with my own problems and not use other people, unless you're my therapist. Shout out to my therapist to help me solve my problems. Cause like that's not fair. It's not fair because hurt people hurt people. You know what I'm saying? And if those hurt people don't sit with themselves and work on themselves and address their own personal problems, they're gonna keep repeating the same cycle. And it's gonna go from them from being a victim to being an abuser. And that's just not healthy. So, message of the day: don't sit in your comfort too long, and don't avoid the problems inside your comfort, because if you do, you're gonna keep continue to repeat those same patterns. That's the message of the day. So yeah, it's your boy Dev. I'm signing out. Peace. Stay healthy. It's hot outside. Drink some water and get some electrolytes too. But bye, y'all. I love y'all.